started the recording, so they'll be able to hear everything in a secret YouTube episode.
All right, and we are back with the sixth episode of the Nameless Vtuber Podcast
Woo!
with your
Hello,
host.
everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Howdy.
Hello.
For some reason,
hello.
it feels like we haven't done this in so long.
It really does feel like that. Me trying to get onto OBS today and trying to work things out. It actually took a moment for OBS to start up. But yes, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to the 6th episode of the Nameless Vtuber Podcast with your host Mimic, me, Nyx Oleander. And today we have our guest, FalseSleight.
Hello, hello.
Shall we go around and do a quick introduction of everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Mimic, would you like to start?
Well, surprise attack, everyone. I am MsElboim, D20 Mimic VTuber. I'm doing D&D, card reading, gaming, and this weekly podcast.
And I am Nyx Oleander, a half light elf and a half dark elf. I'm the co-host of this podcast, and I will hope to be back to streaming sometime soon. And Slide, if you'd like to go.
Hello, everyone. I am FalseSleight, an aspiring voice actor, and a Twitch streamer. Listen, small hiatus, but we don't talk about that. Alright. Small hiatus.
You know, breaks are fine. Breaks are good. I'm on a hiatus. Breaks are good. They're good for your mental health, to be honest.
For sure.
Good morning, everyone, or good evening and afternoon, whoever is here. Mimic, I'm very confused. You had said yesterday that it's 12 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 12. Well, see, you remember that your time and my time got pushed back an hour because of summer?
Yes.
So GMT doesn't do that.
Because I was looking at my
stays-
world clock this morning. I was looking at my world clock and I was like, wait, did I oversleep the podcast?
Well, the GMT time right now is 12 p.m. noon.
And your
Wow.
time, it's 3, right?
Yes, I'm 3 o'clock. And you're 7. So you just gotta
Yes.
remember for the future that every time they're gonna change the clock, it's gonna mess up everything here.
Yes.
Until we can become really good at this. Morning,
Okay.
everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Look at the chat. We got Biggie and Leslie, Mr.
Morning, all.
Teaspoon.
Screw daylight savings. You know, this is like
Yeah.
one of the few times where like I'm sitting and there's actually like sunlight coming into my room. Normally I'm sitting in the darkness.
That's fair. I feel like it's been so long since we had daylight this time, around this time.
Yeah, it's been a while. Well, shall we start with the first question? We actually tailored these questions to Slight because, as he has stated, he is an aspiring voice actor.
Yes.
And so I thought this would be very much appropriate.
Though I will preface real quick, I am not by any means a professional. I am still very much new at most of this.
I mean, I feel like that's how it is with everyone, though, no?
When I started being a VTuber, I also posted in my bio that I'm a voice actor. Although, you know what? Technically, I did study acting and voice acting and dubbing. But I never actually did that as a profession. Because the audition
Right.
process is... The audition process is really annoying. You gotta have a lot of tough skin to get all the rejections. Or a lot of luck. But as a VTuber, I thought that it's an amazing opportunity to do voice acting in games. So here's the story. My computer is pretty weak, even weaker than Nyx's computer, I think. And
Really? Oh, yeah, we did talk
Yeah.
about this.
Mm.
My computer, my CPU is from 2010 or 9. It's like my computer is like 13 years old. And when I started being a VTuber, I didn't do the OBS settings correctly, and my computer would crash. In the first stream, it crashed 3 times. Um, so I decided to play only old point-and-click adventure games, old games
Mm-hmm.
from my childhood that I always wanted to play but never played, and many of them don't have voice acting. So I did the voice acting, and I saw that voice acting characters is really fun. It gets all my acting abilities and desires out. Um, and since then, I believe the games that I did voice acting are my best gaming streams.
Really?
That's so
The most
interesting.
successful, the most
That's
successful
very
from
interesting.
a viewer point of view. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then that kind of goes into our first question of like, do you voice act games?
I like turtles.
Mhm.
Welcome in, everyone,
Well, I
and
mean,
thank you for the
you
hydrate.
certainly made it further than me.
Well, I mean, I guess there's some games where you have the dialogue, but then the game reads it out for you, so you don't have to do it. But then other
Right.
games where it just has the words on the screen, do you read it like you normally would, or do you voice act them? And I think that
I have-
Mimic, you went into like you voice act them, but Slight,
Mhm.
have you had any games like that?
I have definitely done that before, where the dialogue would pop up, and you know, obviously the NPCs wouldn't talk or anything, but I have done that myself. Read the dialogue, and because I like to practice at the same time while doing that, I would record myself and then go back and listen to it, and I still do that just so I can get practice sessions in. But that's really my main way of actually practicing voice acting.
Oh. Do you also do female voices?
You know, maybe not in the same voice or tone, but I do read the dialogue. Yes.
Because I've definitely been into some streams recently where people do voice act the female, and they kind of, I wouldn't say like they attempt to do it accurately, but they do it in a very funny way.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely put on a voice, which is
Yeah.
pretty funny.
One of my biggest inspiration is Game Grumps on YouTube. I love Game Grumps so much.
Mhm.
And they play a lot of games where they voice act the characters. For example, Danganronpa and other visual novels. And they do stupid voices. They do really, oh, I love this one. Oh, they do all kind of stupid voices for the characters. And that makes me laugh so much. And it's really fun. So
Mhm.
sometimes I would do serious voices, and sometimes I would do funny voices. It really depends on the game, on what the game puts you through. I believe the last game I played with voice acting was Doki Doki Literature Club, which I played multiple times, and I voice acted multiple times. But I really wanted to play that with people who don't know the game. So I took Koneko Izu, my childhood VTuber friend, and her friend Luna Haru, and I forced them in a way to voice act the characters the entire game. It was really really fun. We did like all kind of I'm going to school, my best friend. We did all kind of stupid voices. And actually, Arrow in a Nutshell and me have been playing Zero Escape, which is a series of visual novels around this group of people who get into a Japanese murder game. And the first 2 games, there's a lot of voice acting to do. So it was really fun and really interacting. It was great from a streamer point of view. And I felt like the streamers were pretty successful. But then the third game that we just started has full voice acting in the game. So I feel like Aaron and I are watching a movie, and we have no way to stop for a moment and interact with the chat. We basically do nothing. We just speak on the background, and it's so annoying. Actually, make me want to do something that the Game Grumps did recently with their Sam and Max Hit the Road playthrough. They turned off the voice acting, and they did the voice acting themselves.
I was just gonna ask, is there an option to turn off the voice acting and then just do the voice acting yourself?
In some games, that might be. I didn't do it yet, but in the future, it might be something I want to do. Then again, recently, oh, I just remembered another game I played, The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. It came out April
Oh, I
4th,
saw that.
so like a few
Mhm.
days
I was
ago, and they said 2 hours. No, streamer time. Let's be honest, 2 hours is 4 hours. I didn't calculate that. But I was like, oh my god, a visual novel Sonic game? Please, please don't have voice acting. And they didn't have voice acting. And I voice acted everything. It was so much fun. Doing the, haha, I'm Amy, doing the Tails voice. And doing Shadow, edgy voice. And Sonic, doing the Sonic voice. I'm so cool. It was really, really fun. But after 3.5 hours of doing that, I was really tired. So, as fun as it is, it's really, really tiring.
Mm-hmm.
It really
Very
depends
much so.
on the culture, yeah. But it's really really fun. I highly recommend doing that because let's face it, we are voice actors, all of us. Look at us. We have a virtual model. We communicate with our voice and interaction with the chat. VTubers' main skill is voice. If you do not, if you're not willing to voice act in a game, I mean, it's not really different than what you're doing right now already. You just need to read the lines.
I didn't even think
That's fair.
about that.
Like, I haven't either, but that's a fair point.
Yeah, I didn't think about it like that. Because if you really think about it, like, we're just voices behind a PNG, behind a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And many people will tell me they don't even look at the stream; they just listen.
That's me. I listen. I don't watch too much. I just kind of
Yeah,
listen.
not just you. Many
Yeah.
people just put it in the background, listen while doing other stuff. And I do it as well. I also listen mostly. I remember with Arrow, we talked about should I describe what I'm doing or talk about other things because
Oh,
I
that's
played Diablo
right.
2. I played Diablo 2 a lot, and in Diablo, let's say I kill a demon and I pick up a sword that drops from the demon. So I can say, "Oh, I'm gonna kill this demon. Oh my god, a sword drop. Oh, I picked up a sword. Look like," basically describing what I'm doing. On the other
Mhm.
hand, I could do a different narrative. I could say, "Oh, so today I went to get my cat, and she ran outside. It was really funny. She found a stick, and um, that will kind of force the people to look at the game if they want to know what I'm doing. If they're not looking at the game, they will not know what I'm doing." And Era said, "Actually, I want you to describe what you're doing in the game, because that way I can feel what you're doing. I can see the game in my eye, even though I don't see it visually. I just listen to your voice."
Right.
And that brings that point that we are voices. We're voice actors. And whether you do voice acting in games or just describing what you're doing in a game, you have to remember that people are here to listen to you.
That's true. That's true.
I agree.
But then I feel like, so this is like my personal opinion is sometimes when I hear people like voice act and they do like the funny voices and they do it for fun. But then like they're doing it for fun for like 6 hours. It gets to a point where I can't listen anymore.
Yeah. It's very long sessions for sure.
It is. And then it also just kind of makes you wonder, like, how harsh is that on a person's voice? I mean, it's like you're hoping to go into voice acting. I could imagine how hard that is on your voice if you're doing something for 6-7 hours.
Yeah, I've definitely attempted that before just to see like how long you could hold out for it because you have to have some pretty good stamina, right, vocal wise,
For sure.
to actually be able to voice act a character for about 4 or 5 hours, and it's very tiring on the throat. And even vocal recovery afterwards sometimes just it doesn't feel like it cuts it. You need a good rest. And they will tell you too, like depending on how serious it is, like if you're screaming, right? Yeah, they'll definitely be like, all right, only about an hour or two, and then we'll cut it off here.
So it
Oh.
really depends on the voice you're doing as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you do low voices are kind of easier on your throat. But if you do like high voices, these are much harder on your throat. If you do whispers are basically the voice. So
Mhm.
ASMR artists, ASMR, if you don't have a really good microphone and try to push the whispering a lot, it could really hurt your voice. But then again, when you do voice acting in a game, you want every character to have a different voice, a different accent,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
a different texture to their voice, make it a bit more interesting, and that can be really tiring very quickly.
Yeah. When you mentioned like, oh, a deeper voice is like harsher or easier, and then a more high pitched voice is harder on your voice. I think it's different for men and women because for me, a deeper voice is much harder, whereas a high pitched voice is actually much easier.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it also really just depends on what your vocal range is and what you're used to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
For
Also,
sure.
highly recommended to do some vocal warm up before doing I used to teach vocal for 2 years, and one of my teachers who taught me before that said you should call this vocal massaging your vocal throat, your vocal cords. You're like
Mm.
like chewing while you hum.
Chewing.
So you kind of you chew nothing. You don't really chew. You move your lips forward like you were chewing, and you hum at the same time. And of course, there's the lip trills.
Mhm. I know those ones for
Yeah.
sure.
Tapping your chest, really recommended. And there's a ma. And if you want to go even more than that, you can go to YouTube and look for vocal warmers, and you can see all the ma. And actually, I never heard of any VTuber who does a vocal warm up before stream until recently. I streamed with someone, um, and she said, "Give me 5 minutes. I'm doing vocal warm up." And I thought to myself,
Oh,
"Oh my god, that's so professional. That's so cool." So
that is really interesting.
I used to do vocal warm up before D&D session with kids in real life for many
Mm-hmm.
years. At one point, you kind of get used to tiring yourself over and over. So I kind of
Mm,
stopped doing the
Mhm.
vocal warm up, but I should definitely go back and do that
yeah,
before
it's
karaoke
probably
streams.
good.
I will do it though. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Also, another vocal warm up that I personally do myself and highly recommend actually because it helps hone in on your diaphragm, right?
Hmm.
It's listen, it might sound a little goofy, but
They
it
all goofy.
works.
They all
It
sound goofy, but they work.
just works. The straw method. You get a straw, right? And you just breathe through it.
Hmm.
Or you can do like you can hum out and then breathe in through your nose and just hum out. It works pretty well.
Hmm.
How do you hum and breathe at the same time?
Oh no, you don't do it at the same time.
Oh, okay.
But
I'm just like trying to think like how do you hum and then breathe? I was like, I can't do that.
imagine.
Actually, some really talent saxophonists can play and breathe at the same time. It's a very complicated technique, but it basically allows them to play non-stop.
That's
Really?
interesting.
Hmm. It's a really crazy. I think I watched a Billie G movie of doing that.
Huh.
The Billie G breathing technique.
I don't know if I've heard of that.
I think for me it sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
But there's a lot of all kind of techniques about vocal, squeezing your butt while you go to the high notes. The straw method. I think every vocal session I had ever started with breathing in like like from a straw, and breathing
Mhm.
out like a straw. And even though certain music rhythms with really trains you how to breathe from your diaphragm, from the stomach, from the bottom of the stomach, and use the stomach
Mhm.
to push your voice out.
I remember doing those like practices, like especially what you just did, like when I was in choir.
Mm-hmm.
It was like those same exercises.
Exactly. Take everything you did in choir, and do that in like 5 minutes before every stream. It will make the stream much easier for you.
Mm.
Yeah, it'll help the longevity of your voice during your stream.
I want to believe that that's true, but then with my voice, if I talk for too long, it just kind of cuts.
Also, of course, it is our muscles, so you gotta slowly train the stamina. Don't push it too much. I always remind myself when I started playing Ring Fit Adventure, which is a different topic, but it's a workout. I could play the game for like 20 minutes, and then I would get dead tired. And I watched streamers play for 2 hours long, and I didn't know how. How is it possible? I don't have stamina. But after a few weeks, a month, I could play the game 6 hours straight without getting tired.
Oh wow.
In a harder
That's a
difficulty.
pretty big increase.
I did it every day, and stamina just builds. It happens. So take it slowly. If you feel tired, if your voice is tired after 1 hour, stop. Do something else, and always go back to your natural voice. Your neutral voice. Natural voice is the best one for you usually. And here's a tip about voice acting in games. If there is a character like the main character that you expect is going to be the one speaking most of the time, give them your most neutral voice. And if
Oh,
there is
that's smart.
some crazy voices like this raspy voice, then make sure you give it to characters that are not going to speak a lot. In Sonic, there is Vector, the crocodile. And I remembered in Sonic Heroes, Vector is like, "Oh, this is Vector's voice. I'm Vector the crocodile." And it's a really fun voice to do, but it's tiring so much.
Yeah.
I kept on and off doing that sometimes. There was a scene they were at the library, and I wanted to do the entire scene whispering. So, "I'm Victor the crocodile. Shh, it's the library." It was fun to do. It was double tiring. After that, my voice was dead for the rest of the game.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nick says time statics while she's doing other stuff. Nick's gotta focus on the stream.
There's some stuff.
Is there still static?
No, now
Is
you're
that-
fine.
Okay.
It's the storms of the America.
So we had another storm yesterday.
Mm.
No, okay. Well, that's
Had a
interesting.
storm, over here the past couple of days.
Honestly, the weather has been so bad. It's been so bad. What's the temps like for you right now, Mimic?
It's basically an exotic island. We had rain last week. Now we have sun, and then next week, the forecast is rain and sun.
That
It's
sounds
really weird.
That sounds like not even last week. I think it was just a couple of days ago where we went from 50 degrees Fahrenheit to I think 10 degrees Fahrenheit with hail, sleet, and then a foot of snow
Oh my god.
in one day.
Right.
In one
That's
day.
crazy.
Yesterday night before going to sleep, I watched a tornado video of some tornado chasers. And it's pretty amazing to see that up close. That some people deal with that kind of stuff. You can have a tornado running over your house. You have to hide.
It's insane. And then after this, it's tornado season. So that's going to be fun.
Let's go.
I actually almost got
Organize.
blown away yesterday.
Whoa.
It was
I
so
remember you
windy. It was so windy.
If you're
I feel
wondering
like-
how small Nyx is.
I'm not that small, but enough to get blown away, yes.
Just a slight breeze can push her back.
I think I saw a mushroom flying through the air.
Oh, that's mushroom.
So then, what games do you guys like to voice act the most? Because there's only one game that I voice act.
Hmm.
Ooh, that's a
What
good
game did
question.
you voice act, Nyx?
So the only game that I voice act because it has dialogue but without anything in it is the Dark Side Detective.
Hmm.
But
That's
there's
true.
very minimal characters.
What's it called? Dark
The-
what?
The Dark Side Detective.
Oh, Dark Side.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Side Detective.
I think you'd like that one. It's more of an old
Oh
style
yeah.
game.
You told me
Mhm.
about it. I wish listed many months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's an interesting game for sure.
There's some interesting moments. That's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you voice act, did you do your voice, or did you try to give every character a different voice?
I try to give every character a different voice if I can, but sometimes I forget who is who and give them the wrong name, wrong voice.
Yeah, we have a lot of characters.
Yes, especially since there's two main guys, and I keep on forgetting who is who. I like keep on mixing up their voices, but when it comes to like women or children, it's a much easier because there's only like one or two.
You see,
Right.
everyone, this is how elves see us guys. We're all the same. You cannot even differentiate between us.
That's not
No way of discerning.
true. That's not true.
Who's mimic and who's slight?
We're one and the same, it seems.
Possibly, maybe.
So, Slight,
Maybe.
what about you? What games did you voice act recently?
Recently? Ooh, that's a good question.
What game was like a really good voice acting experience for you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Pokemon. Not recently, but
Pokemon. Oh.
that's been one because of the little bit of dialogue that pops up, and the characters don't talk. So, it's a very underrated game in my opinion that I played on stream a while back that I was attempting to do. Moonscars. I don't know if anyone's heard of that game. It's Souls-like. It's pretty fun, but there is some dialogue in there, and it's a very serious game. So you have to have a very serious a tone to it. It's not comical or anything about it.
Oh.
I'm trying to think of some other games. As of recent, I don't know if I have. I have though done dialogue on some like anime clips because I do that as well. Not just in games, but I would also like to dub as well in anime. So I do a lot of scripts for those. I just pull some scripts from certain animes, certain scenes, and just pretend I'm in that situation. Because you have to really envision that you're there to kind of help with actually playing as that character, right? If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So I guess like this is like going off on a side note, but do you voice act every character in games you play if they don't have dialogue?
If they don't have dialogue, listen, I'm pretty bad at improv, so not unless there's a prompt, not necessarily.
I think she meant if they don't have a voice.
There we go. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. I attempt to, but
Also, just figure that we mistype dialogue in the.
Oops.
a little bit. My bad.
Oops. My
That's
bad.
my bad. Wait, someone's bad. Who did this?
Me.
My bad. It's Nyx's fault. I have this say something redeem on Twitch, which is my favorite, to be honest. My favorite redeem. Someone writes something and tell me a voice to do, and I have to say that in that kind of voice, and it gives you the most creative and fun moments. It's small and just really fun to do. And someone would say this line in Nyx's voice. Say this line
Oh my gosh.
in a angry Pikachu noise. Say that in a smoker, heavy bike smoker voice. And I think every time I do that, I go all the way, and people love it. Yesterday, I got a request to do some voice. I'm like a heavy smoker voice, and it was before yesterday. And the person who asked was so happy, like, "Oh my god, it was a bit better than what I wanted." It was so funny. So I highly recommend adding the say something redeem.
Okay,
sure.
I have. I turned it off for today, but I actually have something called finish the whole sentence. Because my chat likes to write some sussy stuff. And I get embarrassed reading it. Like, I'll look at it, but I won't say it. And they'll try to get me to say it. And so I just have a redeem that says, say the whole sentence. Most of the time, it's just like, it's really like, what was that one that you tried to get me to read before? Sleight.
Nyx's chat, give us. Nyx's chat, what do you remember? Give us something that Nyx wouldn't read all the way.
What was it that I tried to get you to read? Did I actually redeem the
Someone redeemed.
I remember trying to get you to read it, but I don't remember.
I think
if
Biggie
actually
redeemed it.
He did.
Someone redeemed it. I said the sentence. I don't remember what it was exactly.
I remember what it was. Yeah. That was funny though. I mean, it makes for great clips.
It does.
It can make for some great clips for sure.
But like, let's see. I wouldn't say like I have like do it in that voice, but then I do have like I have the gremlin voice, which is also turned off for today. That one's just interesting. I can't. Would you guys call that as voice acting?
Well, if you do it in your normal voice, no. But if you do it in a different voice, then yes. But in general, voice acting is just reading text. Maybe text that you feel like you don't need to read. Here's the thing about not wanting to do voice acting in games. Might be because you're tired. You don't wanna bother with reading everything aloud. But I feel like it increases the depth of the game. It makes everything much more interesting for you as well. So just read the lines in a slightly different voice. You can have a lot more fun, I think.
Yeah, if you read it as a character, you can definitely have a lot more fun than if you were to just read it in your natural tone or speaking voice.
Then again, it might be because we like voice acting.
That's true. I am not. For me, it's fun to voice act, but my voice will only go so much. Because there was one time where I had like a full day at school, like a lot of talking. And I came home, did the Dark Side Detective stream, and I'm just kind of like, I'm really tired and my voice can't do the voice acting today. So we're just going to read the dialogue as is.
I know, for example, when I play Beacon Pines with Arrow, I wanted him to do voice acting. But at one point he told me, listen, this is so tiring, I can't do this. So I told him, okay, just read in your normal voice. And he reads everything in his normal voice, and it's completely okay. But I feel like slowly I would want to do that, because reading everything in my normal voice would be boring for me. Pichan, good morning!
Hello, hello.
I have a funny story. I play this game called Norco. So every once in a while, I go to Xbox Game Pass and see what's new, what free games are there that I didn't play yet that looks interesting. I found this game called Norco, which is a point-and-click adventure game, a new one, with some twists and some crazy stuff like religion. And that's the game Norco. It's a really, really fun game, very unique. And I felt like it's a great opportunity to train my low voice, because I have a naturally high voice. and actually being mistaken for a girl sometimes. So, for
Really?
example, yeah, I did some song covers on YouTube before I started streaming, and I would do low voice and high voice. So I have this low voice, and then I will also do this high voice. And some people who listen to that asking me, "Who's the girl singing with you?" And I'm like, "That's not a girl, that's me."
What? So I have a question. Are these cover songs still on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll put the
I
link
have
to
some
the
research
playlist.
to do later.
I'll put the link to the playlist if you want to watch it later.
Yes.
Some of them I'm proud of. Some of them really, really, really cringe. And I did a lot of warm up, vocal warm up before them to get them really good. And I took
Mhm.
all my old vocal training lessons that my teacher back then forced me in music school to record all of them. And thankfully she did, because I started listening to them from start. Um, so naturally, every day I recorded a different song. I got better. Um, I'll put the link in a bit. But going back to this game, Norco, I thought it's a good opportunity to train my low voice. So the narrator and the main character had this very low voice. Welcome to Norco, the city where everything sleeps. And I try to make it lower and lower. And every stream it would kind of go lower. It was really fun and actually attracted many viewers that I didn't have back then. Um, and then we discovered that actually the main character and narrator is a girl.
Oh.
Really?
and and we were like, oh no, do I keep the low voice? What do I do now? So we kept the low voice. The low voice. I'm a girl. That was a really funny, unexpected experience. But one of my favorite games.
Plot
to
twist.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Are there any games that you guys have in mind that you guys would want to voice act at the moment?
Mm.
That's a good question. Mimic is a tomboy. I put the link for my. I think the last song was
Ooh.
8 months ago. Oof. Just when I started streaming. I actually streamed some sessions where I made the song, I wrote the lyrics, recorded, did vocal warming. I have like 2 hours stream on YouTube somewhere where I'm making one of these songs or two of these songs. It's about famous VTubers and so on, some cover songs. Um, as for games that I want to voice act, um, nothing in particular right now, but
Yeah. Nothing comes to
it's
mind
yeah.
as of
Sometimes
right
every once
now.
in a while something comes out, a new game. I do have this urge to play a retro game from my childhood every once in a while. So
Ooh.
game that I always wanted to play, but I couldn't buy it when I was a kid, and now I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna voice act everything.
That's pretty neat.
I'm trying to think of like childhood games that I played that could have voice acting, but I can't think of any.
Yeah, there's not many.
Visual novels are a really good opportunity for that. Usually. Oh, we got a hydrate redeem from Pichan. Thank
We
you.
did.
I really want to play more visual novels with other people. I played multiple times. What's the name of the Monster Prom? I played Monster Prom multiple times with people, and we did voice acting of the characters. That was pretty fun. And Doki Doki Literature Club is really fun to play and voice act. And I'm down to, if it's people that I like and I'm comfortable with, I'm down to voice act almost everything. What about Pat Pat? Oh, Ryu, I'm so happy, so glad you asked that,
Putt
because
putt.
for my affiliate stream.
I need to hear this story.
What is this? Okay. Listen, I'm here for this.
Pat Pat is this old cartoon car from educational gaming. Here's the link. There's not a lot of voice acting because the game has natural voice acting. But I did play. That's 7 months ago when I became affiliated. I played Pat Pat. Both Pat Pat games, the main ones. Pat Pat goes to the circus, Pat Pat goes to the moon. Wait, circus? I don't remember the first one, but the moon was the second one. It was really fun. 2.5 hours, completed both games. 2 hours, completed both of them. I had two people in chat, Arrow and Minako. It was really, really fun. playing another game from my childhood. That it's the game that my friend had, and I didn't, and I really wanted to play that.
So are we gonna see this game played again anytime soon? Mimic?
Again, I played it.
But that
Put
was
the
7
link
months
here in
ago.
That's correct.
Maybe a refresher would it would be nice.
To be honest, it weren't that good of games.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay, that's
Listen,
fair.
some old games are really good. These ones are pretty bad, pretty boring. I guess as a child, when you have no other game. Actually, yesterday I played Sky Roads from 1993, which is another game that's from my childhood, and managed to complete almost all the stages. Skipped some of the harder ones, and I was talking about how hard some old games are intentionally because there wasn't a lot of options back then. And you buy a game, you expect to play that for like half a year. You don't expect to change it. And today it's the complete opposite. You have 5 games coming out on Steam every day, or like 50 games, I don't know. And there's so much competition that you can't really, you don't have the luxury of playing the same game for too long.
Or like even just going back to replay it because you enjoy the game so much.
But then we discovered that some old games are brutally hard.
Oh,
because they
100%.
want to.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, without a doubt.
They're hard for no
Wow.
reason.
There are actually 2 main reasons. One of them is that, well, 3 reasons. One of them is that they didn't really do any testing. They didn't think this is hard for new players. This is easy for new players. Second reason, they wanted longevity. They wanted the game to last long, so they made it hard, so you don't complete it in one day. And third, there were systems and shops like Blockbuster that you would borrow games for 2 days or 2 weeks and so on. I don't know if you guys remember that, but back in the PlayStation days, for example, or PlayStation 1, my dad would on his way back from work would get a new game for me every week, and I would play that game for a week. And many of them you couldn't complete in a week, because if you would complete them in a week, then there is no reason to buy the game. They want you to borrow the game, reach a point where it's too hard, and you think to yourself, "Oh, I'll buy the game, then I complete it." If you complete it, there's no reason to buy the game, and they basically waste money. So some games are intentionally hard. Well, today, if the game is too hard, just move on to another game.
Yeah, it's just like now, like if it's too hard, people just stop playing.
I mean, you have many other options now.
Yeah. Like it's not hard to find a new game. It's just a question of like whether or not you enjoy it.
That's a good thing, competition. But sometimes it makes me sad that I have other options. Like there's this game called Magnum Opus.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Magnum Opus. It's a really, really, really hard puzzle game that make your brain explode. I really liked it, but I'm so impatient of playing that one. So I just moved on to other games. In a way, I wish that I didn't have any other options and I would have to play that game so I could enjoy playing it. But right now, every time I will have another option, I will play something else.
I think like at the end of the day, it really just depends on like whether or not you have the motivation to finish the game. Because I'm still struggling on a level of Dark Side Detective, and I've gone through it 3 times. I still can't figure it out. It is hard for no reason.
You want to move to the next topic?
That's fair.
Yeah, let's move on to number 2. Do you want to do number 2, or want to go to a
how do you
different
feel
one?
when someone doesn't voice act? I think we covered that in a way.
Okay.
So you can go to the. What do you think of voice changers, right?
Yeah, voice mods versus their real voice.
Yeah, that's a bit of a more spicy topic.
I know, Mimic, you
Little
actually had
bit.
talked about this one before, off stream.
Did and I got off stream? I even
Yep.
talked it on stream recently.
This was a while ago.
Recently in the Passover collab, I believe we talked about this podcast, and chat asked all kind of questions, and one of them actually brought up this question. I thought to myself, wait, Nyx watched that and put the question in the list. Where did that come from? And they asked, "What's your opinion on voice changers?" Um, it wasn't a it wasn't a fun conversation for me
Mm-hmm.
because I'll be straight honest. I hate voice changers. I really hate them. And apparently,
Right.
the the person who asked that was using voice changers. Um, now, let's be fair here. There are all kind of reasons to use voice changers. Some people just want more privacy. Some people fairly want their voice to be more attractive to streaming. Um, I always remember this story by what's her name? Vishojo Raccoon VTuber. She's not on Vishojo, but she's great friends of Vishojo. Snuffy, Snuffy,
Mm.
Snuffy. So
Mm-hmm.
Snuffy had two voices. She had a really hi, I'm Snuffy, a really high voice, but that high voice hurt her throat a lot. And I remember she had a stream where she apologized to everyone and she started doing her normal voice. Um, and I want to say that straight on. I talk with a lot of VTubers off stream. Some of them have a fake voice or a stage voice on stream, and then they have the real voice off stream. I always 100% love the real voice more. It just feels more authentic. It feels real. I have a really sharp eye or ear in this case for fakeness. And when I feel the fakeness, I just don't enjoy it. I just don't like it. I understand when you want a
Right.
fake voice, but for privacy reasons, for attractive reasons. But to be fair, I really think that people who use voice changers believe that their voice is not good enough for streaming. And let me give you this known secret. Everybody hates their own voice. I cannot listen to my voice. I hate it. I'm pretty sure that Nyx and Slight are the same. People don't like their
Very much
voice.
so.
Yep.
It's not, it feels weird. But listen, if you have viewers, then people like your voice. End of story. Close your eyes, trust your viewers, and use your normal voice. I believe it's better for you. There is another, and then I'll bring you. I'll let you fight over this. Another touchy subject is the LGBTQ community, which people in that community use voice changers in order to get in the culture. Let's say there's a female with a man voice, and she wants to have a female voice, so she would use a voice changer, or the other way around. That's a different. That's a topic that I do not understand anything in. And you do you. Personally, I'm in favor of doing everything you can to use your own voice and be proud of it. Static from Mimic?
From Mimic, I don't hear static. It could be from me, but I don't know why that would be the case.
It could be Nyx's computer doing static from us as well. Because we hear static from Nyx.
You guys hear static
Yeah,
from
there's
me?
A little bit. Oh no.
Welcome back.
Welcome, welcome.
I don't know why. Let me just throw my phone over there.
Let it go across the room.
She
I
said she
threw
had a
it.
storm last night, so maybe it's still from that.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I threw my phone over there.
Tell us if you see hear any improvement.
Does it sound better? Question mark.
Oh, they'll tell us once we speak.
not
So,
hearing
what's your
much.
opinion on voice changers, you two?
What's your thoughts like? I have some comments.
Static gun?
Right.
It was your phone then. I cannot believe this.
I mean, we static eated. I mean, we know my phone is an issue.
That's true.
I'll know it for next time.
I mean, I guess it really depends. I mean, if you're just doing it for fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's okay. There's no harm done. But I do agree with Mimic on just like if you're streaming, just use your natural voice. Like people will like it so much better. It'll help you get used to hearing your voice a little bit more. Although you'll always not like your own voice. I'm pretty sure that's just everyone. You'll never get used to it. But I mean, just for fun or like a certain character, Like, especially if they need a voice effect. Like, for instance, if we were to take Destiny, for example, the game Destiny, Exos, right? They have
Mhm.
a little voice mod for their characters. If you use it for something like that, then yeah, it fits.
Mhm.
But definitely just speak naturally with your own voice when you're streaming.
And Pigeon says that some people use stage voice to avoid doxing situation, and that's correct. But
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
from watching a lot of VTubers, I learned that there's no real way to hide your voice. Your laughter, your cry, whenever you break immersion, intentionally or non-intentionally, your real voice will come out. And
Mm-hmm.
if anyone wants to dox you, they're gonna do it. And here's the question I have, for at least the question that I ask myself: people who hate their voice or wanna have a stage voice or a character voice or a different gender voice for all kind of reasons. What is, again, if you do it for yourself, there no harm done. Listen, there's never harm done. Do whatever you want. If you feel comfortable with a different voice, do it. Um, I mean, we're using characters, not our own faces, so it's the same basically.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking myself, let's say I fake my voice, and one day people discover my real voice. What would be bigger repercussions? People knowing my real voice, or people knowing that I was hiding my voice this entire time because I was ashamed of it, or or afraid of privacy reason and so on. I feel like I don't want one day people to say, "Oh, it was hiding this whole time." I'm like, I'm full on. Don't hide anything. I say whatever. I uh, use natural voice. I show my face all the time for the same reasons that I want to bring myself. I'm bringing myself basically.
Mm-hmm.
But some people want this the character, and like I said, Slide. Sometimes they have a character that needs a very special voice. I know of a VTuber. They
Mm-hmm.
have a character that's a robot, and they have this robotic voice with a voice changer in it, which fits the character a lot and helps hide the person even more. Um, but
Right.
that's not what I'm looking for in VTubers. Different viewers look for different things. I look for something natural. If I'm hearing the two of you talk, that's why I like this podcast so much. I want to hear your real voices. Having a stage
Mm-hmm.
voice also helps people to get into the character. People on the news, they all have that stage voice, and I'm sure they do that not because they hate their normal voice. I have to disagree. People in the news use different tonation. They use different cutting of the voice. They speak in a way that it's easier for the viewers to listen, but their voice itself, the tone, stays their natural voice. Um,
Mm-hmm. They
while
do
we talk
have
about
different cadences, yeah.
yes, but when we talk about VTubers, some VTubers change their voice in a really, really, really unique way. I could like, hey, I'm Mimic. This is my voice now. This could be my voice. This could actually
Mm-hmm.
be my voice. Uh, and that would work for a character, but it would be very tiring for me, and it would be very fake. And there's different levels. There's different levels. Some of them are okay. Some of them feel so fake that I cannot listen to them. And it's a different situation. It's a unique situation every time.
It is. For
Bringing it
myself,
to Nyx, yeah, you have a very special voice that you're hiding. Your real
I
voice.
this is my real voice.
No, no, the gremlin voice is your real voice.
The gremlin
Yeah, we
voice.
know the gremlin
Actually,
is the
I
real
have
one.
I am very excited about this topic for many reasons. One, because I'm not saying that I was going to use a voice mod when I started streaming, but I definitely, when I first started doing like small clips and everything before my debut, before anything, just to like get my voice and face out there, I definitely used a much more higher pitched voice.
Mm-hmm.
There's some videos out there. I'm not gonna say where. There's some videos out there with a much more higher pitched voice and a much softer voice. And when I had asked some of my IRL friends, like, oh, take a look at this, what do you think? Some of them had said like, oh, this voice really fits well with the model, and I think that you should continue with this voice because I think it's gonna be good. But then I was also just like remembering like how much effort it took me to get just that one sentence out there. I'm scared to ask where. It's on one of my social media platforms. One of them. And when I did my debut and my IRL friends were there, they had actually texted me saying, "You're not doing that voice." And I said, "You know what? It's too much work. It's too much work." So I really almost did start out with a different voice. But then when it really came down to it, I went with what I was more comfortable with and what was more natural for me. And that is my normal voice. Like, I will say, like, depending on the game, like, I might be more excited, so my voice is, like, much more higher pitched. But I've had people tell me recently that they like the voice that I do during the podcast. Because it's much more relaxed and laid back compared to when...
Like,
yeah,
it's talking with a person and not with a character.
Not with a character and not with just like reading the chat. And so that in itself really kind of like opened my eyes a little bit, because it's like you're talking with an actual person, and so you'll naturally talk with them how you normally would. Whereas when you're reading the chat, when you're responding to them, it's still, there's a little bit of a facade that is still there. You might not be aware about it. Facade, thank you.
Facade.
It's early. It hasn't even hit 8 o'clock yet, and the caffeine has not hit. I tried. The attempt was made.
To be fair, it's a word that's rarely used.
I tried. I tried. I used it yesterday, and I dipped. My brain's not working. Brain is still asleep.
I've seen many. I want to go back to Peony's point, which is the stage voice. I would say stage voice is okay. When I work with children, naturally, my voice becomes a lot more higher and more excited. Stage voice is okay. The problem, what is my problem, comes when you use voice changers, when you use applications and programs to mess with your voice. And I think my problem is the intention that you're doing that. If you're doing that to get into a character, maybe that's okay. If you do it because you believe that people would like to hear a fake voice, I have news for you. I can recognize voice changers very easily. And if I hear a voice changer in a VTuber, I just can't watch it. I can't. Because I am looking for something real behind the character. I don't care about the character. I have cartoon. If I want to watch a cartoon, I will watch a cartoon. There's so many good cartoons out there. I want to watch real streamers with this cute anime avatar that kind of represent the real inside of them. So I look at Nyx, and she's like this mushroom elf with now cute devil chibi wings, and it's cute, and kind of give me the inner vibe of what's inside of Nyx. And I see FalseSleight with the earphones and the long hair and the coat, and I kind of get the real image. Like, it's like the soul image in a way. You can see me with the prankster tongues and teeth and kind of like this naughty look, and maybe you get the soul appearance. I love that concept.
It
doesn't mean I want a false voice.
Yeah. Actually, I have a question for you, Slight. How accurate would you say that your character reflects you?
I'd probably say fairly accurate. I kind of just wanted a more casual character. And I'm not saying I don't mind fantasy characters at all, but for me personally, I just wanted to have a character that was just more casual. Not much goes behind it or anything, just something that fit me some. And I'd say look wise too, it fits fairly well. I love listening to music, so I thought, headphones would be a great addition.
Mm. The reason why I ask, and Mimic, you make a really good point, is so like I've said before, my human model, and some people who have seen my face can agree that I unintentionally made my human model to look exactly like me. And I didn't realize this until 3 months later.
It's kind of crazy, but every VTuber I've seen in real life really reminded me, almost all of them, really remind me of their model. It's like we try to find our reflection of our real self, and obviously it depends on uh, your your salary and the money you invest and how accurate the artist
Mm-hmm.
gets your vision and so on. But I feel like my artist, Miss Virus, my VTuber mama, got nailed on my inner look, and I love it. This quirky, snarky, rude dice mimic person. Also, Pichan is saying something I want to
Yeah,
read. I find having a stage voice like doing makeup. You do it for yourself. I feel like someone saying you look better without the makeup can be perceived as an insult because it seems like you are undermining the effort. I completely agree. But
I agree and I
some
disagree.
yes, some people.
Mhm.
I have this image of a 9-year-old girl who took her mom's makeup and put makeup for the first time, and her face is completely white and red and smeared with mascara in the wrong places. And she goes, "Look, mom, at all the hard work." And her mom is looking. It's like, "Oh my god, please." And then she teaches her how to do makeup. I feel like many people who use voice changers don't get it. They don't get that it makes their voice sound bad or weird or cringe. It's cringe for me at least. By the way, Mick, your PNG today looks amazing. Thank you. It's
It's
uh,
so cute.
it's my close friend artist who I love very much. They are very dear to me. Unfortunately, they want to keep anonymous, so I cannot shout out their name nonstop. But I'm really happy with this. I love it so much. I did out the open mouth with the small fang. That's my small addition.
Mhm.
That's cute.
It is adorable.
Mm.
Thank you for the hydrate. Everyone hydrate.
Hydrate. Last thing I think to conclude this, I'm saying that because I heard many VTubers who use voice changers and one day reveal their true voice. And in almost all cases
Mhm.
I've seen, actually I can only think of cases that the viewers said that the original voice is better. You can feel when the VTuber is calm, when they use natural voice, when they don't strain themselves. It just sounds better, to me at least. What's the difference between using a voice changer to change your voice and a VTuber PNG model instead of a cam? That's a great question, Lazo. Um, and going back to the thing we started with, we are voice workers as VTubers. I think in a way streamers are voice workers. The voice is much more important than the camera. And if you look back, again, I go to Game Grumps, which are a huge inspiration to me. They don't have a camera. They just speak over the game. You can just hear their voices. And that's the experience. That's the real experience, I believe. It's like audiobooks. The camera or the model can add something cute to look at. But to be fair, I believe that most people listen more than they look. So, um,
You make
yeah,
a really good point.
I
That's
do
a
a
pretty good
camera.
point. Yeah.
I do a camera every once in a while, but that's not the important part. The voice is the important part.
You make a really good point with that because we know someone who only streams with their voice,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and they do really well. And there's also, I know they had a talk about getting a PNG, but honestly, I feel like they seem much more comfortable with just their voice.
Whatever works here for you.
Mm-hmm.
There is an exception. There is an exception. And the exception, as we always go back, YouTubers. Um, YouTubers and specifically the ASMR category on Steam, on Twitch. I will never Steam, Discord, Twitch, Twitter. I confuse with them so much. If you look at the ASMR category on Twitch,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see that many of the girls there wear very skimpy clothes, and that doesn't make sense because it's ASMR. ASMR is full audio. Why do they need that? Because that's actually half visual, half vocal. So ASMR category on Twitch is not only vocal; it's also visual in a way.
Hmm.
But I believe VTubing is 90% vocal. And the visuals almost doesn't matter. There are many cases of VTubers with very expensive model. I have a friend who paid a lot for their model. The model is gorgeous. It's amazing. But they're not getting the followers they hoped for because they need consistency and they need interaction with the audience and they need networking and you need so much more stuff than that's just a beautiful model. On the other hand, some people without a model manage to get very very far. So I believe the voice is more important than model, and that's the answer largely to well, it's a bit of a double standard. I agree, but
It
you need to find that
is.
balance.
And I kind of want to build off of that too. It's like when you have a model, when you have a PNG, you're already giving the person an idea of what you want to look like in their eyes. Whereas when you're just doing it with your voice, no PNG, no model, no character, you give them the mystery of what you look like, and they have to really tune into your voice to understand your personality, to understand who you are, and to feel as if you know who they are as a person just through their voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that also has a really big play into it as well. It's just like, how well can you convey your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions just through your voice? Whereas people who also have PNGs or models, like, they can use the expressions of their character to show another part of themselves.
I think it's also up to the individual viewer. Some are visual learners, some are auditory learners, and some are both. Yep, definitely.
It does.
That's why I
Whereas,
always try to mess up with the model, add assets, change the colors, make it more interesting to those who watch. But I think I did more, I invested more time in how I sound, in filters, in listening to myself again.
I have this is a very off-topic question, but Mimic, would you ever be concerned that changing all of that would lose some of your viewership?
Changing what? The visual stuff?
Yes.
I am not concerned at all. I believe that I can become just a voice, and all of my not a single viewer that I have will leave, and I know that because my computer is not strong. Sometimes I have to go PNG, and I can't do the VTube studio. When I play Diablo 2 Resurrected, for example, I go PNG, and I have the same viewers as in other games. So I believe in my case, the vocal is my great point, the point that attract people, and the visual stuff is just a cute addition. But I don't think it's a hit or miss. Unlike some YouTubers with a very lewd model and a lewd voice, that if they lose the fakeness of their lewd voice or the fakeness of the model, they might lose the audience. But they also might get audience much easier than I get.
The reason why I asked this is because I apparently have impeccable timing, and the difference was about 10 seconds is when I joined your stream to your face reveal. I came in expecting a D20 dice. I saw the D20 for 10 seconds and then I saw your face reveal. I've told you this before, is had I come in at a different time and just saw your face, I probably would have left right away.
Because of my face? Because you expected a
Because I
VTuber model?
expected a dice and not someone's face.
Mhm.
Right.
Actually, I
I
believe when I do face streams, I get more viewers in general. But maybe it's because people want to see the person behind the model.
mm-hmm. They want to see the person behind the model, but then like if you have like first time viewers, which that was my first time viewing your stream, literally 10 seconds because you were like counting down like we're going to 5 4 3 face reveal, and I'm just like, wait, what? And I was just sitting there thinking like, okay, I see the dice model, but I somehow made it just in time for a face reveal. And I was thinking to myself, like, I wonder would I even still be watching if I had just come straight into a face reveal, because I was expecting some kind of model. Because I don't watch regular like.
Same? What do you mean same?
Oh my gosh, same Nyx. Yeah, because I. Like I'm expecting like a model when I click on like someone's VTuber or PNG and like their profile or their whole entire branding is a character. But if I click into it and see someone's face, I would have probably thought that I clicked into the wrong stream.
Oh, and you know what? Actually, this is why I started. Not why, but I don't know if this is one of the reasons. When I do tarot readings and I show my face and my cards, I always put my PNG in there at the bottom because I want everyone to see the character as well as the real person, so they can match between them. I don't like face cam and VTuber tag. It's unfair. I'm a VTuber. I have this
Right.
brand. I'm gonna use that. So if I do face reveals now, I always put my PNG of my character as well.
That's smart. That's smart. But yeah, well, the thing is, like, there was actually another stream. There was another streamer once who was doing a not like a face reveal, but they were doing a stream with another person, and the other person had their camera on, and they were okay with that person like showing their face on stream. I like went in and I had to like triple check 3 times. It was like, am I in the right stream? Because I did not think I was in the right stream, and I'm just like, I don't think this is right. I'm gonna leave. And then I heard their voice. I'm just like, no, I'm in the right stream. And I think that has a really big play into it as well. Fiona, yes. I think when you go into something expecting one thing but get another, you instantly say no and then leave.
Instantly thrown off, and you just, you got to see if you can stick it out or not.
Actually, I remembered one case where I got a VTuber who was interested to play D&D, and I went to watch the stream, and it's not a VTuber. I didn't mind, but I felt like I expected a VTuber, but I got a real person. Maybe I was deceived in a way. I don't know. But going back, they never say they're a VTuber, so it really depends on the brand and what you promise.
Yeah, all of that really does matter too.
Do you have anything to add, Slide, or do you wanna move to the next topic?
No, actually, you guys made some pretty good points. I don't think there's really much for me to add to it.
I actually have a question for you, Slight. And this just kind of came off the top of my head. Okay. I'm fine with voice mods as long as like they're not using it to, like, there's people who I know who will use a voice mod and they're using it for fun, which is completely fine. But people who use it to like,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. But people who use it to like try to make themselves seem better in some ways, that's another thing. But with you specifically wanting to go into voice acting, would you ever use a voice mod to get yourself out there? Because you have a nice voice, and I will say that again, like, you have a nice voice. Would you ever use a voice mod or just change your voice in any way to get a voice acting position or anything?
Unless the like, say I'm auditioning, right? Unless they want you to use a mod of some sort, or just to change your voice in a way to fit a certain character because it's needed. then yes, I would do that. But to get my voice out there, no. I personally would not use it.
That's fair.
I don't see a reason unless the director says otherwise.
Actually, while Slight is saying that, made me think of something. Going back to Lazuli's question about why we use VTuber models but not voice changers. Let's say the Slight is using a voice changer, but he says, I'm using a voice changer. I would be fine with that. If he's hiding the fact that he's using a voice changer, that would piss me off.
Oh,
Oh, so
when I
if
see a
they
vid-
admitted that they were using it, okay.
Yes.
that's interesting.
So when I see Nyx's VTuber model, or Slight, or mine, it's obvious it's not your real face, right? It's obvious that you use a VTuber model. But if you use a voice changer, it's not always obvious. It's hidden. He's hiding something from me. And as viewers, we want a connection. I'm for my thesis about VTubers, I'm reading a lot of articles about the connection between the viewers and the VTuber. And of course, we're gonna talk about the parasocial relationship in a bit, because there's some dangerous connections. But it's really hard to get that connection, that personal connection, if they're using a fake voice and kind of ignore the fact that they're using a fake voice. When someone uses a fake voice or a voice changer, basically, and they don't admit it, I feel like they're deceiving me.
So I know, Mimic, you've talked about like not wanting to do collabs or like not enjoying collabs where people use a voice mod.
I never had the opportunity to think about that. But if you ask me for a collab and I go to your stream and I see you're using a voice mod, I would probably tell you I'm busy. Just because I feel less comfortable with it. Drasil says, there was a good video about the philosophy of VTubers. A lot of people watch VTubers because they want to watch VTubers, including immersing themselves in the shared fantasy of a supposed VTuber lore. Face revealing breaks the shared fantasy. People watch non-VTubers for an assumed sincerity, which may or may not actually be real. It's similar to wrestlers. I love that. I love
That's
that
a good comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really is.
For some reason, maybe it's me, but for some reason I feel like adding a voice mod, you know what, maybe if voice mods felt more natural. Today, voice mods for me feel like AI art, which there's all kind of philosophical and moral problems and issues with AI art. My main problem with AI art, it looks so freaking fake. I see AI art, I immediately know it's Novel AI or I forgot the name of the other one. There's like a few of them. I can recognize which program did it. It is so fake. I cannot, and maybe that's my main problem with voice changers, that I can hear the fakeness of them. I use some filters in my OBS, and obviously Discord adds some filters to and some noise suppression and stuff like that. So it sounds slightly different than if you hear me on the phone or in real life. But it's not different enough to make you sound like actual fake. And you know what? Going to a completely different topic. Would you date a person who adds silicone to their body and changes themselves? Made all kind of enhancements to the lips or to the eyes or to the breast, all kind of implants. And personally, for me, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the fakeness. I just don't like it. If you do it and I like your personality, I'm sure that it means nothing. It's not a red line or whatever. But thinking of dating someone with giant boobs after she did an implant, or giant lips, or a butt that got an implants or whatever, I don't know. It's kind of disgusting to me because I like the natural stuff, the real thing, and the fakeness just makes me feel like it is really stupid and childish. But if they're hiding that, what else are they hiding? If they're embarrassed by the real voice, what else they are embarrassed by?
If you know they're hiding one thing, what else could they be hiding as well?
Exactly. Same thing that you never, if you go to an interview, you never talk bad about your previous employer. Because they would say, if you talk bad about the previous employer, he's going to talk bad about me as well. So, same logic. It might be false logic. That's just my logic.
I mean, that's fair.
It is fair. But then it also brings up the question of this, and we go back to this question all the time, is other than like hiding our identities, what else are we hiding behind a model?
Mhm.
Is it really, are we really being natural by just hiding behind a model and only showing things with our voice?
I cannot speak in the name of other VTubers because I'm really unique in the way that I don't hide anything. I say everything. I admit everything. Um, I started psychotherapy 6 years ago. I decided I'm not hiding anything anymore. I don't care who listens. I'm gonna say everything. It makes me really
Right.
comfortable because I had a drama teacher many years ago who told me liars need a really, really good memory because you will need to remember your different personas and who you lied to and what you said. Um, hey, Lordo, the Shroom Show, yes.
The shroom show. Yes, we're sitting on mushrooms today. Well, not slight, but
Yes.
The Master Shroom, Nyx. So I don't hide anything, but I would guess that most VTubers hide at least 90% of their life from chat.
oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And I really wonder why.
I can go into my reasoning.
Mhm.
I really enjoy my privacy, and with a lot of things that had happened to me within the past few years, in terms of people following me home, people
Mm,
stopping me on the streets, and a bunch of other things like
Right.
on the same general lines as that, I feel much safer. And like I've always wanted to be a streamer, and like back then when this was all happening, like I kind of like went away from that. And then discovering VTubers, VTubing, PNG tubers, I